Although the sun is peeking through, with a little bit of an overcast day here along the shores of Wrigley Field, Soldier Field, everything happening in Chicago. Flashbacks to the childhood days. 50 degrees and partly cloudy. Evan Washburn down on the sideline. Evan.
Well, Greg, Dolphins cornerbacks Cortland Finnegan and Brent Grimes are both former Pro Bowlers, listed at 5'10", 190 pounds, and they'll look to slow down Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall, who are both north of 6'2", 200 pounds. But according to players on both sides, height and weight will have nothing to do with this. Brandon Marshall said this is the best secondary they'll face all season. Cortland Finnegan told us that it's all about your approach at the line of scrimmage. Greg, this is going to be fun to watch.
I agree with you, Evan. Thank you very much. Big receivers, not as big cornerbacks. It'll be quite the battle. Miami has won the toss, and they will receive. They'll get their hands on the football first. Robbie Gould will kick it away to number 14, Jarvis Landry. The 2 and 3 Dolphins, the 3 and 3 Chicago Bears, and we're underway. And this will not come out, and we immediately have a tussle at midfield already, as the kicker, Robbie Gould, was hit by Michael Thomas, number 31. So we'll come out to the 20-yard line. Ryan Tannehill, third-year quarterback, 8 touchdown passes, 5 picks, and determined to get off to a better start than he has in recent weeks when he didn't come alive until the second half. Our referee today is Pete Morelli. And here we go. The Dolphins from their own 20-yard line. Tannehill will throw to start things. No, he won't. He gets buried inside his own 15-yard line. Jeremiah Ratliff, his first sack of the season. And a loss of 5 makes it 2nd and 15.
Well, that's the problem. You're trying to get off to a fast start, as the Dolphins are. You put your quarterback in a deep drop. You're trying to push the ball up the field. That means you have to hang on to it a long time, and that defensive front for the Bears will be applying pressure all day.
He beat Mike Pouncey on the play. 2nd and 15. Miller, left side for a couple. To about the 17 on the offensive line. Talked about that regular center, Mike Pouncey, playing at right guard. Coach Philbin likes the way Samson Satelli's been at center. And we will keep track of Lamar Miller, who assumes more of the ground game responsibilities with the season-ending injury to Noshan Moreno. 3rd and 12, and Tannehill immediately in 3rd and long situation. Short pop over the middle to Miller, and Miller going to come up about 2 yards short of a first down. The Bears on defense. Jared Allen bringing his 5 Pro Bowls and 129.5 career sacks to the table. At linebacker, Lance Briggs out with the sore ribs. Kasim Green starts for him. And that rookie on the corner from Virginia Tech, Kyle Fuller. Santonio Holmes is deep for the punt. Off the side of his foot. And this will give the Bears terrific starting position in their own territory, but not by much. So here comes quarterback Jay Cutler, the 9-year veteran, coming off a terrific outing last week. 381 passing yards and a touchdown in the win at Atlanta.
He just has a real comfort zone for what Mark Trestman's trying to get done offensively. And when you look at his completion percentage throughout the year, he's doing a good job of spreading the ball around, utilizing all of his weapons.
Dodges the rush, tosses over the middle to Alshon Jeffrey, and out to about the 43-yard line where Jelani Jenkins makes the stop. Miami or rather up front for the Chicago Bears, two-time Pro Bowler, left tackle Jermont Bushrod, back from knee and ankle problems, and the best all-around back in football in Matt Forte. League's leading pass receiver, 7th leading rusher. I think he can play the game, Trent.
Well, and it's about that offensive line. This is the first time since week 1 that they've had all 5 starters back.
Quick pass to the far side. That's Jeffrey, and Jeffrey across the 45 to about the 46.5-yard line. The Dolphins 4-3 defense has number 91 Cameron Wake, one of the game's best pass rushers. He'll probably be after Jay Cutler all day long. Jelani Jenkins, the youngster of the linebacking corps in his 2nd season from the University of Florida. And on the corner, Brent Grimes, along with Cortland Finnegan. Big responsibilities today with the big Bears receivers. Coach Joe Philbin says look for Michael Thomas to play a role as well. 3rd and short.
Hey, Mike 55! Hey, you guys are out! Get in! Stick! Ready up!
Cutler to throw for it. He's going to go deep. Far side of the field. Incomplete. Intended for Jeffrey, covered by Brent Grimes.
Plenty of time. The offensive line gives Cutler good protection, and the play is not to push upfield, but from a matchup standpoint, he sees Jeffrey working up that sideline one-on-one on the far boundary. He decides to take a shot on 3rd and short.
What does that tell you about the outlook coming into this game?
Well, they've been trying to get if you look at the first 2 passes, he got the ball out of his hands quickly. That time the play was to the left, but he found the one-on-one matchup on the backside and tried taking the shot.
Jarvis Landry. Across the 15 to about the 18-yard line, and that is where Tannehill and the Miami offense will start when we come back to Chicago. 11:15 to play in a scoreless first quarter so far.
Back to that same old play.
Let's go!
Sweet home, Chicago.
Part of the Chicago Bears faithful. 2nd possession of the day for the Miami Dolphins. And this is Tannehill keeping near side, across the 30 and out to about the 33-yard line for a first down.
This is something that Tannehill's had more utilizing the last couple of weeks. Early in the season, it wasn't necessarily a part of what the Dolphins were trying to get done, but his background at Texas A&M and what Bill Lazor brought over with him from Philadelphia, it's something that definitely Ryan Tannehill feels comfortable doing when you consider the chunks of yardage he can get in the run game.
14-yard pickup by Tannehill. Damian Williams is in the backfield now, number 34. He goes in motion. Tannehill going to keep it again, right side, and slips and falls. Looked like he had some more running room, too.
He did. That was open on the right side, and he had 2 blockers out in front of him that were leading the way for him. They get the distraction of the defense by running everybody out wide to the left. Just losing his footing. You can see the bottoms of his shoes there. He has the plastic bottoms, which are generally used on the synthetic turf, not on the natural grass. A lot of times on natural grass, you'll have the screw-in cleats because they're a little bit longer and can dig in better.
Looked like he had another big gainer going. Instead, it's just a 1-yard pickup, and it's 2nd and 9. Tannehill with time, throwing this side. That's Clay, complete and out of bounds, but into Chicago territory for a first down at the 41-yard line.
What they utilize is Brian Hartline to clear out. You see him there at the screen just flash through. He's running a post to clear everybody out of there. And then Clay working from Tannehill's left to right finds that open window after the clear out by Brian Hartline. And Tannehill with an accurate throw up the field.
We get all kinds of promises from the Miami Dolphins that Brian Hartline will be involved today. This is Mike Wallace on the end around, inside the 40 to about the 37. Let's get our first update of the day from New York. JB and Tony.
Trent Green knows there is a favorite target.
Yes, he does. And right here, Aaron Rodgers' favorite target is Jordy Nelson. Hits him going up the sideline, puts a great move on him, gets in, pay dirt, 59 yards. Packers up 7-0.
All right, that's just the way it is. Back to Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Evan Washburn.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Packers riding that winning streak. Everybody relaxing, apparently, in Green Bay. As suggested, the pass over the middle, and that is complete to about the 25. We'll call market at the 24-yard line. Jarvis Landry on the receiving end.
Watch the flow of the defense. Everybody is going with the run fake, and Tannehill is going to pull the ball. A lot of times you're thinking it's to run the ball, but here you have a slant route working in that open zone from the linebackers voiding the middle of the field.
Lamar Miller straight ahead. Lamar Miller bullying his way close to the 15-yard line. Miller now with 330 yards rushing just coming in. Noshawn Moreno tore his ACL last week on a run after catch in the third quarter against the Packers. Actually stayed in the game for a play after the injury. The Dolphins said they had no knowledge of that injury, even though he didn't return for the rest of the game. But now the responsibilities of the ground game squarely on the shoulders of Lamar Miller, the third-year back out of Miami. On 2nd and 2, Miller again. Looking for first down yardage, and he may have it just inside the 15-yard line.
When you reflect back on what the Dolphins did on their first series, the 3 and out, it was more of keeping Tannehill in the pocket and trying to stretch the ball up the field, having him stand there and make the reads up the field. This drive, they've moved him around. A couple of times he's run the football. Even on the passes that he's completed, those have been play-action type passes to get the flow of the linebackers. Good mix-up here this second series of the game for the Dolphins.
Miller in the backfield, the Dolphins in the red zone. Tannehill with time, end zone, wide open, touchdown, Charles Clay. Trent, Ryan Tannehill looked as comfortable on that drive as we've seen him in a long time.
And I think some of it is just getting him to move around a little bit. It's getting him to move, and that's like this time here you get the play, you get the pass. Clay working the corner out. The outside receiver is clearing it out for him. Clay just hits that open void, man to man. That's got to be a linebacker that's running with him. But because of the effectiveness the Dolphins had on that drive running the football, that froze the linebackers just enough to get Clay behind him.
Caleb Sturgis' extra point is good. Miami scores its first quarter touchdown since week 1 against New England. 7-0 Dolphins. This is the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable 4G LTE network. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
The boats have not yet been taken out of the harbor, although winter is coming. Guaranteed, winter is coming. Charles Clay with the touchdown catch for the Miami Dolphins, his first of the season. 13 yards.
Nice execution by the Dolphins on that drive. Good mix-up of run and pass, play-action pass, quick drop-back throws for Tannehill, but also keeping or freezing the linebackers and defensive ends for the Bears because of Tannehill's ability to run the football. And that was a good setup there by the Dolphins and good execution.
Chris Williams, number 82, is deep. And will not get a chance to return this one. He lets it go through the end zone, and the Bears will be out to their 20-yard line. Their second possession of the day. 7-0, Miami.
On the touchdown pass to Clay, Wallace has a post route, and then you've got Clay coming up on the corner route, but the person to keep an eye on is Fuller. He plays man-to-man coverage, and the rest of the Bears defense is playing zone. He gets locked in on Wallace doing that skinny post, not realizing he has help from the safety. He needs to fall off because the linebackers aren't going to take Clay all the way to that deep third.
Kyle Fuller is the rookie corner. First down from the corner. Forte for a couple. That time of the day, time for Trent to go green.
Well, it's about the Bears offense, and last week against Atlanta, they bring 9 guys in the box. So all of a sudden you're leaving one-on-one coverage for these big weapons of Chicago to get up the field. And Jay Cutler does such a nice job of buying time with his feet. And because of his arm strength, he can throw from different angles. Here his feet are parallel to the line of scrimmage, yet he's able to flip that ball 45 yards accurately down the field for a good completion.
Cutler to throw. Going over the middle, and that is complete. Forte out of the backfield. The NFL's leading receiver, not just for running backs, leading receiver coming into this game with 46 catches for 376 yards and a touchdown.
Well, the Bears like to utilize Matt Forte in the screen game. He runs the screen a bunch of different ways for them, but also in the checkdown game, and that completion there was a checkdown. Jay Cutler was trying to push the ball up the field, but that's why Jay Cutler's pass completion has increased, because he's doing a better job of controlling his urge to throw it into coverage up the field.
On 32, under pressure, throwing wide open over the middle. Forte, and Forte for a first down across the 35 to about the 38-yard line.
We just got done with Going Green, talking about Jay Cutler throwing from different angles and utilizing his feet to buy some time. Once again, the Dolphins have pressure on him, and Jay just continues to back up. He never sets his feet at any point in time during that drop that he set his feet, just trying to buy time as Forte was working from right to left, and Jay puts that ball accurately. Cutler puts it accurately right on Forte, and they're able to pick up that first down.
You can do that when you have one of the stronger arms in the National Football League.
It sure does make it easier.
On first down, quick pass, and that went off the
That's
fingertip.
backwards.
That
That's
is backwards.
backwards.
Kadeem Carey lost it. And the Bears covered it.
Sorry about that, Greg. I got a little excited. I was like, somebody better jump on that football, because that was clearly a backward throw, which ultimately makes it a run. You can see where Jay Cutler is, where the line is for him to throw. And because that ball is thrown, if he leads the back right to get him up the field, all of a sudden that's a completion or an incomplete pass. But because it goes backwards, then they have to jump on it, and why they lost yardage.
Loss of 10. It's 2nd and 20. Cutler got rid of it over the middle. Guess who? Matt Forte. To about the 32. You know, the wide receivers, you begin to wonder, well, just who's up there? Matt Forte up ahead of Julio Jones, up ahead of Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, when you throw those 3 names up there, I guess you don't. With the leader being a running back, it kind of throws you a little bit. But Forte already 3 catches today here in the first quarter. They're using him out wide and also out of the backfield.
He's had 22 catches in the 2 previous games before today. 3rd and 16. Deep drop for Cutler, and now he's in trouble, and now he goes down. Derek Shelby.
Dolphins only going to rush 3. See Shelby on the bottom of the screen actually slips and gets back up. He's going against Bushrod. And as Cutler steps up trying to push the ball, when you're dealing with 3rd and long and you have to extend the ball up the field, you need to hang on to it a little bit longer to let the play develop. And that's what gives him the ability to make that sack.
The rookie, O'Donnell, with the kick. Fair catch called for and made by Landry back at the 15-yard line. About 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. It's still 7-0 Dolphins.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Available November 4th. Rated mature.
You see a fair share of Miami Dolphins fans up here from South Florida. And the resident Chicagoans as well. We want to see a little out of their defense right now. Daniel Thomas, number 30, in the backfield. Play fake to him. Tannehill on the move, throwing outside, and that's complete to Landry. Landry tricks the tackler and out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Gives us an opportunity to remind you Thursday football starts here when the AFC's top two teams square off. Red Hot Phillip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers, Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Another big-time matchup in prime time on CBS and the NFL Network. Gee, anything happening with Peyton these days?
As I look at those numbers, it's incredible. The funny thing is, for the young quarterbacks out there, they saw that highlight. Both of those balls had a little wobble on them, but they're completing half their percentage of passes.
This is Thomas again, and Thomas out across the 35, and once again an update from New York. Once again, JB and Tony.
Hey, Greg, a balanced Packers attack.
Yeah, and you're seeing right here, Eddie Lacy takes the ball to the right for 5 yards. On that drive, 9 plays, 56 yards. Green Bay is all over Carolina early, 14-0.
Back to Chicago and Greg Gumbel.
All right, JB. TG, thank you. 2nd and 5. Tannehill. Thomas out of the backfield. And Thomas slips. Got the first down, but that's another slip to the turf without contact.
You can see the Dolphins are trying to utilize the play action pass. They're using the same formula they did on the last series where they had success moving the ball down the field, and they're moving Tannehill's spot around, so he gets a completion on the bootleg rolling out to his left. He gets a play action pass that time there. They're trying to push the ball up the field, and he was smart with his decision to check it down.
Thomas again. Forward progress will be marked at about the 49 before he gets pushed back. Hey, access all of today's football action on the go. Download the award-winning CBS Sports app now for instant scores, breaking news, video, and more, all on your phone. You know, after that loss last week to the Green Bay Packers, I didn't know what to expect from the Miami Dolphins. Joe Philbin was cool and calm, but I don't picture him any other way.
He handled it very well. He was disappointed. He said he was disappointed for a couple of days, but he had to refocus and regroup and get his guys ready to play today, and they are. They felt like they had their best week of practice, the players said.
Time runs out on the Dolphins. First quarter is over. They lead it by a score of 7-0. We'll be back. You look at the game stats so far, the Miami Dolphins have come out of their locker room like a house of fire. Tannehill. He eludes one tackle, on the move, tripped up, and falls forward to about the 48. Jeremiah Ratliff. After initial pressure from Lamar Houston.
Good job by Tannehill escaping that initial pressure, and by the Dolphins not giving up on the play. You can see Clay peels back to extend that play and give Tannehill a chance to get near the line of scrimmage. The pursuit was just too much for Tannehill to escape.
3rd and 6 now. Quick pass. That's complete to Clay. He leads one tackler inside the 45, inside the 40-yard line, and a first down for Miami. Good job of Clay reaching back and holding on to the football.
Well, the Bears decide to bring pressure. They decide to come after Tannehill. So what that does is that leaves everybody isolated one-on-one, and Clay coming from the left is able to get separation from the defender. You can see the defender a little bit there on the outside of the screen. You can see the defender slip once again. This is the 3rd time we've seen someone slip on a crucial play.
First down. Tannehill 7 out of 7 throwing the football. There's another slip and a fall down. Daniel Thomas losing yardage on the play. Let's check in with Evan downstairs.
Well, Greg, you've mentioned guys slipping all over the field. There's a lot of chunks of the field of this size over the course of the field. Now, I wouldn't say the field's in poor condition, but guys are adjusting. During timeouts, they're coming over, raking their cleats on a specific tool. Both teams are doing this. I have not seen anyone change their cleats. I'll keep an eye on it for you, but there are chunks about this size, parts of the field that are causing guys to slip.
All right, Evan, thanks. Second and 13. Tannehill to throw. Over the middle. Wide open. Complete to Thomas. Thomas inside the 30, and that's another Dolphin first down.
You're going to see all the defensive players for Chicago, they're all getting out in coverage, and what happens with the running back coming out, with them getting dropped, you have 2nd and 14, so they're dropping thinking that that's where the ball is going to be pushed up the field. And nice job by Tannehill checking the ball down. Don't force it up the field into those creases between defenders. Drop it down, pick up the first down, and now you're giving yourself new life inside the 30.
Damian Williams into the backfield now to give Daniel Thomas a rest. He gets the handoff. Can't turn the corner. And looks like he's lost maybe a yard or two. A reminder for you, with NFL Mobile, stream live local Sunday afternoon primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile.
And Greg, I want to talk real quick, I know before this next play, is about the shoes the players are wearing. Because of the synthetic turf, a lot of them are wearing those plastic bottom shoes. But with grass, I know Evan just touched on how many guys are slipping. You have to think about putting some screw-ins, the longer cleats in.
Thomas to about the 25. You know, Trent, if you've slipped down on a play, then all of a sudden you begin to doubt yourself out on the field, right?
Well, you do. You don't want to plant the foot as hard. You don't want to make the cut as hard as you would normally make it. As we see a Dolphin player down on the field.
That looks like Darren College, number 67. We'll check on him. We'll come back right after this. Third and 7, Darren College standing on the sideline as Tannehill on the move and gets hit and back at the 35-yard line. Jeremiah Ratliff again.
The Dolphins are continually trying to move the pocket. Here's Ratliff here. They're continually trying to move the pocket just so that Tannehill isn't just standing back there as a target. But Ratliff, this is the third time he's been able to get into the backfield and cause havoc for the Dolphins, and Ryan Tannehill applying good pressure as Sturgis lines up the field goal.
This is Caleb Sturgis from 50 yards out. He has a 51-yarder this season. Kick was on its way and faded to the right. So Sturgis misfires. The Bears take over with 10:13 to play in the first half. This is the NFL on CBS. Ryan Tannehill came into this game having been sacked only 10 times all season long. He's been decked 3 times today. And the Bears now from their own 40. Cutler on the move, shakes one tackler and brought down at about the 43-yard line.
Going back to the last play, watch Brandon Albert. This protection here, you have Ryan Tannehill coming out, so you want to slide this protection, and even though you all of a sudden you lose Darren College and you have Nate Garner come in at left guard, this is where Albert and Garner need to be on the same page, and they need to bounce that protection out instead of allowing Ratliff to come free to the outside.
And allowing him to bounce the quarterback.
That's right. Well, and it ultimately got him out of field goal range. You know, 50-yarder, it's a much different kick than a 42-yarder.
Second and 7. Cutler to throw again, and under pressure again. And this time, let's see, he laterals it out of the pocket to Martellus Bennett. But did they whistle that dead before he got it away?
It appeared that Pete Morelli came up and marked it as he was down, or blew a quick whistle.
Let's listen for the whistle. So it's marked down at the 41-yard line. 3rd and 11. Forte is alongside Cutler. The pass this near side, and that's complete and out of bounds at the 45 of Miami to Bennett, the tight end. And that's good for a first down.
Getting Bennett behind, in between the corner and the safety. Finnegan's over on that sideline, but he's tied up with Alshon Jeffrey as Jeffrey's working an underneath route, and Bennett's able to flatten that off right in front of the safety's face, and Cutler puts it right on target.
Only the second first down of the day for the Chicago Bears, who've been averaging 23 a game. That's fourth best in the NFL. Cutler, deep drop. They'll go for it all. Alshon Jeffrey leaping, incomplete inside the 5-yard line. Cortland Finnegan, one of the defenders right along with him.
We talk about the size advantage that the Bears have.
Cutler delivered just before he got hit by Derek Shelby. Finnegan got a hand in to break up the pass. 2nd and 10. Forte picking his way inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Let's get another update from New York. James Brown and Tony Gonzalez apparently getting paid by the word today.
I bet Saints trying to correct their road woes.
You're going to see Austin Johnson goes to the flat there. Nobody guarding him. Gets in for 13 yards. This is Austin's first catch as well as his first touchdown. Saints up 7-0.
All right, Greg, I'll try to be briefer. Back to Greg Gumbel.
Not necessary. It's very musical, JB. 7:25 to play in the first half. 3rd and 2.
Hey, good day. Everyone, let's go.
Cutler throwing in. He's intercepted. We have a penalty marker down on the near side of the field. Picked off by Rashad Jones. Jones back to the 40. Back to midfield. Tracked down from behind by Brandon Marshall. Loose football covered by the Dolphins. But there is a penalty flag back on this side of the field at about the 42-yard line of the Dolphins.
Holding, number 67 offense. Penalties declined. Result of the play is a first down, interception by Miami.
The penalty is on Jordan Mills, the Chicago right tackle.
Cutler has plenty of time in the pocket as he steps up to try and make this throw to Bennett. You can see he's double coverage. I'm not sure if he thought Bennett was going to take a different angle, but he sailed that ball a good 5 feet over his head, and Jones was there to make the diving interception and was aware enough to jump up and get a big return.
What a great job on the return by Rashad Jones, 49 yards.
The only other thing I can think of there, Greg, is that Santonio Holmes was working up that left sideline, and if Jay Cutler thought Holmes was going to sit down on his route, that would explain why he threw it so far over Bennett's head, as he thought that Holmes was going to run a different route.
Rashad Jones, his first interception of the year. And this play is being reviewed.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. And by T-Mobile.
All right, here's Pete Morelli with the call.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. There was a fumble and recovered in advance. First down, Miami.
So a 50-yard return of that interception. Mike Carey joining us for the first time today. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Greg. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Good to have you here. Not much doubt on that call from your point of view, I would guess.
No, but one thing to think about, though, is that had this been under 2 minutes, the receiving team, the intercepting team is the offense, so they cannot advance that fumble unless it's recovered by the fumbling player.
Got you, Mike. Good point. Meanwhile, there's a penalty marker down as Tannehill completes a pass inside the 10-yard line. That is Brian Hartline on the receiving end. And hasn't he been a topic of conversation?
Holding. Number 23 defense penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
So the holding call is on Kyle Fuller, the rookie cornerback. Let's go back to the interception.
Well, Rashad Jones is the one that's going to get the interception, but they're in a zone coverage here, and Bennett's going to be running the out route, and Holmes is running the go route on the outside. What happens with Cutler is this ball is so far overthrown of Bennett, you think almost that he thinks Holmes is going to run a different route. There was clearly miscommunication there on the part of the Bears.
This is Lamar Miller on first and goal, and he takes it to about the 5. By the way, Darren College, the left guard, is back on the field for Miami. Well, this Miami offense has answered a lot of questions about starting late, hasn't it?
Well, they certainly have. They've responded. If you look at the last few games, they've done a good job in the second half, but their problem has been, as you said, Greg, getting an early start, especially with that drive in the first quarter resulting in a touchdown, and now here after the turnover in position again.
Second and goal. There's movement up front.
Ball start. Number 51 offense. 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Asked Joe Philbin about Mike Pouncey moving from center to right guard. He said it wasn't that big a deal, especially with an athlete who has the abilities of a Mike Pouncey.
Well, and he reminded us that Pouncey played guard in college and that it wasn't that big of a transition for him. But you have to think, coming off of an injury, having played center the entire time, he was already beat earlier today on a sack by Ratliff, and that time there jumping and getting the penalty on him. So there is going to be a little bit of transition period getting back into to game speed.
Miami doesn't commit many penalties. Tannehill with time, throwing, end zone, touchdown! Mike Wallace. And Tannehill had terrific protection on the play.
Lengthy protection there by the offensive line, giving Tannehill an opportunity to get this ball off. It's a long way for Mike Wallace, who's working the back end zone. You can see the progression. Tannehill working from left all the way back to right. That is really his fourth read on the route. He has a quick slant on the front side, which would be his left, and he has a drag route underneath, and Wallace is working that back line. He plants his foot and pivots away, and Tannehill puts it right on the money.
The extra point is good. 5:20 to play in the first half. Ryan Tannehill is on fire. 10 out of 10 throwing the football today. 2 touchdowns. Mike Wallace's first catch of the day is good for 6. Mike Wallace on the receiving end of the touchdown pass. And for Wallace, his 5th of the season.
What we're going to have here is you're going to have a slant route here, you're going to have a drag route here, and because you're inside the 15-yard line, Wallace is going to work this back line and then run a pivot, and you got a swing coming out of the backfield. So for Tannehill's read, he's working to his left, trying to get that quick slant to Clay. It's covered. He works all the way back. His 4th progression is Wallace on the back line. And Greg, you were asking me about the timing of that route. Tannehill got the ball out of his hands so quickly because he knew that Wallace would be pivoting on that back line. He laid it to the corner, and it timed out perfectly.
That kick goes through the end zone for the touchback. And the Bears will take over on their own 20-yard line, and gives us a chance to remind you, Saturday, best game from the best conference. Dak Prescott leading Mississippi State, the #1 team in the country, into Lexington to visit the resurgent Kentucky Wildcats. It all begins with college football today at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on CBS Sports. Tannehill started, as you said, to his left, didn't he, Trent?
Yeah, he's going through his progression. You can see his eyes. He's looking at that inside linebacker. As soon as the linebacker takes away that skinny post by Clay, then he's working to that drag route, and then he's reading the double. He's got the swing or the route in the back of the end zone.
Nice camera shot there of his eyes and his progression.
Shot on the far side. Brandon Marshall is hit quickly by Louis Delmas.
When you hear some grumblings from the crowd, the Bears not having won a home football game yet, and today coming out awfully slow here in the first half.
That never sits well with the home folks. Never.
Never does, especially after last week. You know, they go down to Atlanta after a couple of tough losses to Carolina and Green Bay, and then last week going down and shutting down Atlanta. Atlanta has an explosive offense. The Chicago Bear defense held Atlanta to under 300 yards, and they were expecting more. This home crowd was expecting more today.
2nd and 13, the pass out here. That shakes a tackler and is out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. It'll be roughly 3rd and 5. And we are under 4.5 to play.
Well, this is a crucial, it's hard to say a crucial play in the middle of the second quarter or near the end of the second quarter, but for the Bears, just to get something going, something have a good feeling going here, you need to convert this 3rd down. You don't want to give the ball back to Miami with how well they're doing offensively and give them an opportunity to come down and score one more time before the half.
Chicago with just 2 first downs today. Cutler got rid of it. Knocked down, intended for Brandon Marshall. And Cortland Finnegan coming back to get a hand on it.
He's the inside receiver there. Jay Cutler gets away with it a little bit. He sometimes get caught up with how strong his arm is. With the pressure that was applied to him, he wasn't able to step into it. We've highlighted that a couple times already this first half, how Jay has such a strong arm. You can get mesmerized in that and forget about your footwork. There, he's not able to square his feet up, and that ball dies. Finnegan's able to knock it away.
We saw yet another Dolphin slip to the ground. Landry from inside his own 20-yard line to the 25, diving forward to about the 29-yard line. 3:43 to play in the first half. That has been all Miami Dolphins so far.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by Jeep Grand Cherokee, the most awarded SUV ever.
Little pee-wee football action on the south side of Chicago. Nothing pee-wee about that.
Well, first had a couple of stiff arms. You see the stiff arms that got him around the edge and working the sideline, but how about the audio of that hit? That was a crush.
Out at Oakland Park on the south side of Chicago. First down Miami, their own 20-yard line. Each team with all 3 of its timeouts remaining. Down this side, Tannehill out of bounds. Ryan Tannehill getting a little heady with his ability to run, isn't he?
Yeah, Tannehill's doing a nice, and the Dolphins really from the first possession on, they've done a nice job of mixing it up and changing where Ryan Tannehill is coming from side to side, not only in the run game but in the pass game as well, getting outside the pocket. So far, he's 10 for 10 on the day, but the Bears, because of how effective he's been running the football, they have to stay honest with their pass rush.
Picked up 5, 2nd and 5. Going to throw it to the far side of the field, and now he's 11 for 11. The pass is completed to Mike Wallace. Very close to a first down. And Pete Morelli is taking a look. It is a first down. On that last drive, we saw the Dolphins finally get Brian Hartline involved, and he's been a topic of conversation all week long in Miami. Tannehill. That's complete. Jarvis Landry. And Bill Lazor's offense clicking for Tannehill and the Dolphins today.
Well, I'm sitting here looking, it's a little over 2.5 minutes to go here. So we got the 2-minute warning coming up. The Dolphins have all 3 timeouts. You can utilize the entire field, and as they're nearing midfield, you don't have to work that sideline. What they just did there to Landry, you have the option to go sideline to sideline.
2nd and 4. This is Miller. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning as Miller pushes it close to midfield. 2 minutes to play here in Soldier Field. 14-0 Miami. A reminder, coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the guys for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. And a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. First down from the 49-yard line for the Miami Dolphins. Tannehill with time, sideline. That's complete to Hartline, and Hartline inside the 35-yard line for another first down. 13 straight completions for Tannehill. That is the best start by any quarterback in the NFL this season. 13 out of 13.
Well, and that's 6 different receivers that are catching those 13 passes, so he's doing a good job of spreading the ball around there, that time getting the ball out of his hand on time, so Hartline caught it as he was coming out of his cut.
Tannehill screen, make it 14 in a row. Miller with some blocking. Penalty markers fly as he's down to about the 11 or 12-yard line. That'll stop the clock with a minute 24. We'll check the flag. This looks like it'll bring it back.
Pass interference, number 82 offense. 10-yard penalty remains, first down.
That penalty on Hartline.
Hartline down here at the bottom, it doesn't look like it's much of a penalty, but as soon as he throws his hands up, the official is going to call it every time. He places a hand on the back. He doesn't even block him in the back, but once he places that hand on the lower back and then throws your hands up like, oh, I didn't push him,
then you know he did.
you know you're going to get that call.
If you're trying to convince the official you didn't do it, then you probably did.
Yeah, don't throw your hands up.
So it's a 1st and 20. Tannehill throwing, and that's complete inside the 35 to the 32 is Mike Wallace. We're talking about how Hartline really hasn't been the receiver that's been paid attention to this year as he has been the last couple of years.
Well, over 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons, but because of the emergence of Ryan Tannehill and his understanding of this offense and Bill Lazor with the progression type offense that he's working, everybody is getting involved, as is indicative today with the number of guys with catches.
Tannehill sideline, and there's the first incompletion of the day, thrown by the Miami quarterback, intended for Wallace, and Tim Jennings was covering on the play. 54 seconds to play in the first half.
Well, it may not happen this half because it's late in the half with 54 seconds, but if Tim Jennings is going to play the sticks, that was a 3rd and 9 with a 10-yard out route. If Tim Jennings is going to play the sticks and try and undercut that out route, look in the second half. We can anticipate in the second half that they will attempt an out and up if they see middle of the field closed and they've got Jennings one-on-one.
3rd and 8. Tannehill pulls it down and then goes down. Jeremiah Ratliff in on that one as well, along with Jared Allen.
The one thing you can't do at that part of the field is you can't, here's Ratliff over here, you can't take the sack and get yourself out of field goal range. Tannehill is trying to throw the ball up the field. And in this passing game, talking trust between quarterback and receiver, and even though it's hard to criticize anything Ryan Tannehill has done this half, 14 of 15 with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions in the first half. That time there, he took too much time not getting the ball out of his hands.
Speaking of taking up time, the Dolphins let the play clock wind down and take a delay of game penalty. And there are just 5 seconds left here in the first half. And now Brandon Fields and the punting unit will come on.
Well, I don't think you try and pin this ball. I think you just tell Brandon Fields, punt it as high as you can, as far as you can, and that'll use up 5 seconds. None of the tricky backspin stuff that you try doing in this part of the field. Just go ahead and boom it and let the clock wind down.
And fair catch is called for. It'll bounce. Time will run down, and that's it for a very good first half for the Miami Dolphins. For the Bears, not so much. And those are the boos that are coming down that you would expect. They're looking for their first win of the year Not happening. Not yet. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB and company with all the scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's the end of the first half. 14-0 Dolphins. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message. And a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The first half of this game is all about number 17 for the Miami Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill. 14 of 15 throwing the football for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Jay Cutler has pretty much been coming up empty for the home team. It is a 14-0 Miami Dolphin lead over the Chicago Bears, who are still looking for their first win of the season here at home. Welcome back to Soldier Field, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. Evan Washburn will be along shortly. Ryan Tannehill was as good today as we've seen him so far.
Well, you think about the second half last week against Green Bay, and he was picked up right where he'd left off in that game, and you talked about the numbers and what he's been able to do, but some of the struggles that Chicago is having on their side of the ball. Jay Cutler, you mentioned a little bit, but Brandon Marshall trying to get him involved. What is going on with the connection between these two? Coming into today with such a big connection. Here, Jay Cutler tries pushing the ball up the field, leaving a wide open Brandon Marshall underneath. They try getting him the ball on a quick screen. It's covered. They tackle him right away. Here, Jay Cutler doesn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough. He beats Cortland Finnegan. That was one of the storylines coming into this game, was how are the small corners for Miami going to be able to cover the big receivers for Chicago? And right now, you have to give it to the Miami defense.
Sure, look at the time. Look, Brandon Marshall's been targeted twice. Jeffrey 4 times, 1 catch for 15 and 2 for number 17. It's not exactly working out the way the master plan had it to start the game for the Bears.
And that's why you never play this game on paper. You and I talked about it at the open. On paper, it looks like a matchup made for the Bears, but the execution of the Dolphins, the way they're performing defensively, putting pressure on Jay Cutler and covering the big receivers up the field, it's making it hard on them.
The Bears do get the football to start the second half. Chris Williams is deep. And this will be the touchback. And as you look at the first half numbers, what do you think Mark Trestman's priority is talking to the team at halftime?
Well, I would say you have to get after Ryan Tannehill and you have to start breaking up that passing game. And really it comes down to, you think about what the Dolphins did in the first half offensively. They were able to move Ryan Tannehill around. They utilized him outside the pocket. They utilized him in the running game, working the edges, trying to get everybody to stay honest on that defensive front. And then you give him that kind of time, and Tannehill's done a great job of working through his progressions, utilizing a number of different receivers and spreading the football around.
This Miami team, offensively and defensively, have come to town with a purpose today. This is Forte. Forte with running room. First down yardage, 15, 17 yards maybe. We'll call it 16 out to about the 36. Let's check in with Evan downstairs.
Well, Greg, I spoke with both coaches, and starting with Joe Philbin, I asked him about the field, and he said yes, to start the game, the conditions were an issue. He said it got better as the half went on. He said the guys will have a chance to switch to a 7-inch cleat stud. Now, I asked Mark Trestman about the first half. He said the offense has to do a better job. He said they left the defense on the field way too long. I asked him about the interception. He said he didn't see it. He had no issues with the field conditions.
All right, Evan, thank you. This is Forte again.
Just to tag what Evan was telling us down there, for the screw-in cleats that they're using for grass fields, you have a 1/7-inch cleat that you use, so just under an inch in terms of how long those cleats are, and that's about as long as they get as far as digging into the turf that they're having problems slipping on.
2nd and 7.
Hey! 180! 180!
Going to give it to Forte again. To the 42.
And this is a part of the game that the Miami defense has done a good job with, is keeping the Bears to third down conversions. Everybody wants to talk about third down conversions, but a lot of it is what offenses do on first and second down. If you're a team that has a lot of success on first and second down, you're keeping yourself very short down in distance on third, or you're keeping yourself in no third downs. Miami defense has stepped up and performed well today on first and second down.
Cutler now with a 3rd and 4. Roller coming across the field is Marshall, reaching for the first down, and they're going to, well, let's see where they're going to spot it. He'll be very close, just across the 45-yard line. Brent Grimes with the tackle. And a first down.
Here is Brandon Marshall here, and here is Grimes here. When you line up in a bunch formation like the Bears are, you're trying to cause some rub or some confusion for the defense. That's a good first down for Chicago Bears, trying to get going here to start off this second half, but you can see the coverage that Grimes has been applying all day, and that's why they haven't had much success in the pass game.
Only 4 first downs, but a couple already here in the second half for the Bears. 14 carries again, just shy of midfield. Rashad Jones and Cortland Finnegan from the secondary making the stop. In the first half, the Chicago Bears were just stalled. A punt, an interception, and a punt. Really didn't get any kind of rhythm going at all on offense.
And you can see from that third possession, that was the one possession they actually got something going, got the ball across midfield, got a couple of first downs, and then the interception after the sailed pass to Marcellus Bennett.
This is Forte, and this is going to be no gain at all. Jelani Jenkins.
Well, for people around the country that thought last week's game, the Dolphins against Green Bay, was a fluke, this defense comes into today as the 7th-ranked defense, and so far today they've shut this high-powered offense of Chicago down, limiting them on first and second down, forcing a lot of these third and longs.
Yellow. 50 down.
Yeah, this Dolphin team came in the 7th best defense in the NFL. Brandon Marshall and Cutler signaling to each other. And Cutler dancing, throwing, and that is complete to Dante Rosario, the tight end. And that is going to be at the 45-yard line on 4th down. They're going to go for it.
And they're hurrying up to the line to try and catch the Dolphins off defensively.
And now a timeout is called by Trestman and the Bears. Fans wanted to take it and go. The Bears say, not so fast. Trent, you like going for it on 4th down here?
I love it. I think you have to try and get momentum changed.
And Forte is going to get it.
But even to go back to my answer, even if you don't make it, you're sending a message to your team that you're going to be aggressive and try and win this football game and not just try and catch a break somewhere along here in the second half. So I like that aggressive approach, especially when you look at how the first half unfolded and now setting the tempo here in the second.
First down for the Bears now at the Miami 41-yard line.
Hey, solid right here, 55. Yeah. 180! 180!
Cutler, sideline, complete to Marshall, and Marshall to the 26 and a first down.
Marshall one-on-one against Cortland Finnegan. You see him do a little stutter step at about 10 to 12 yards and then keep going. Finnegan thinks that's a little hitch and go, so he turns his hips. As soon as you get that defender's hips turned, as a quarterback, you're trying to time when your guy's coming out of the route. You can see Cutler gives a little pump because he's anticipating Marshall getting out of his cut faster, but because of the time that he had in the pocket, he was able to make an accurate throw.
A couple of weeks ago, Brandon Marshall had some issues with an ankle, but he's feeling better now, and they say he's got a little bit of birth back. Cutler with time, again to the sideline, and complete. Inside the 15-yard line, once again, Brandon Marshall.
Marshall coming back to the football in front of Finnegan. Finnegan's playing deep, not trying to get beat over the top.
This is Forte to about the 10. Yeah, those Miami cornerbacks have done a good job so far, but sooner or later you think that maybe it would take a toll.
Well, in talking to Cortland Finnegan yesterday, he talked about you have to mix it up because of the size disadvantage. You talk about the height disadvantage. You can't go to a straight man-to-man press. You have to be able to do a press bail, do a soft press, roll the corners, get some help from the safety. You have to mix it up because of the size advantage that the Bears have.
2nd and 7. Cutler for Forte, who will walk into the end zone for the first touchdown of the day for the Bears.
Good play concept here. Martellus Bennett is the tight end. He's going to drag across. You're going to see the safety vacate. And what Forte does, he comes up in protection. So they immediately think he's staying in, but it's just a late leak. It's a delayed release. So when the flow of the Miami defense goes one way, they know they've got a touchdown if they're just patient with it and give Cutler the time.
Matt Forte did much of the heavy lifting on that drive. His 2nd receiving touchdown of the season. The Bears are on the board and cut Miami's lead in half. It's now 14-7 Dolphins.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement. And by Kelley Blue Book. Find out what you should pay for your next new car at kbb.com.
Welcome back to Chicago. 14-7 Miami in the lead. Remember the 85 Bears? I went to Miami looking for the perfect 13-0 start, but Mike Ditka's quarterbacks, including Jim McMahon, sacked 6 times in that game. Dan Marino's offense put 38 points on a very good Bear defense that was allowing just 10 points a game. The Dolphins won 38-24. The Bears only lost. They trounced the Patriots in Super Bowl 20. Yesterday was Mike Ditka's birthday. Happy birthday to Iron Mike. And on that last 80-yard drive by the Bears, Matt Forte accounted for 43 total yards.
Well, you go back to the 4th down that they went for right near midfield, trying to set a momentum changer, just trying to get some belief in that offense, and they were able to go down and continue to score. Now it's up to the Bear defense to see how they respond to what Miami was able to accomplish in the first half. How do they respond coming out of the locker room here in the second half?
Jarvis Landry going to run it out, gets up ahead of steam, bounces off one tackler, and falls forward to about the 17-yard line. That's where Ryan Tannehill will take over. 7:53 to play in the 3rd. We'll be right back. Hey, next Sunday, NFL on CBS doubleheader time. First, the Seahawks and the Panthers. Huge AFC North showdown between the Ravens and the Bengals. Then in Game 2, the Colts battle the Steelers. It all begins at noon Eastern time with JB and the guys on the NFL Today. That's next Sunday here on CBS. I started this day with a real faux pas. I said we were at Wrigley Field, and as you so wonderfully reminded me, Trent, it can't be Wrigley Field because the Cubs don't play ball in October.
That's speaking from a guy that lives in Kansas City. So after 29 years, we finally made it back to the World Series. Looking forward to that.
Congratulations to them. Lamar Miller out to about the 20-yard line. We talked earlier at the very beginning, in fact, about how the NFC North, the Chicago Bears, even with that 3-3 start, only 2 teams are a game better than that. That's Detroit and Green Bay.
Well, and they're all clumped up, and if you go back and you look at what they were able to do last week against Atlanta, that's why this home crowd is trying to get everybody into it, because of that momentum they're hoping to build.
Tannehill Tannehill fakes the pass to the near side, the screen to the far side to Miller, and Miller with a head of steam has a first down across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
The screen here is going to be set up. You see the running back line up to the side. He's going to come over here and set up, but watch the eyes of Tannehill. He's going to draw the defense over to the right side with a quick little pump fake and then dumps it off. Get out in open space. You know, coming into this game, the Bears were the ones known for their screen game, getting Forte involved in the screen game, but that time there, the Dolphins dial it up and pick up a big first down.
Dolphins averaging over 8 yards per passing play today. They came in with just over 5.5, so they've improved on that number, and this is Miller straight ahead. Speaking of the Dolphins in the AFC East, they're looking up at New England and Buffalo, but remember, one of those New England losses is at the hands of the Miami Dolphins on opening day.
Well, and New England just finished off beating the Jets the other night on Thursday night, and they had to block a field goal on the last play of the game. So even though you see 5-2 at the top and 1-6 at the bottom, that came down to the final play. So this division is very close, and that's why Miami with the win today would be right in the mix.
Tannehill now on 2nd and 7, looks the other way and finds the tight end Deion Sims, and that is right about at the first down marker. Let's see what they rule. It is enough for a first down.
I can't say enough about the development just in a short time. You know, the last time we had the Dolphins was week 1 in that New England game, and just some of the consistency issues and just getting comfortable with this new offense. Ryan Tannehill has looked sharp all day. He's getting the ball out of his hands. He's working his feet, working his progressions. That time pinpoint accuracy on the tight end, which allows him to pick up the first down.
You have to pull him aside and ask him what the heck is with that one incompletion today. He's 16 of 17 on the day. Throwing it again. That's another completion. Short pop over the middle of the Hartline. You know, we made a point of asking both Ryan Tannehill and Joe Philbin about Hartline, and I think we probably got the stock answer about how the game plan didn't call for this or that, and the progressions didn't work, and the coverage and so on. But they have made a concerted effort.
They have made a concerted effort, and even though Hartline has had a couple of good seasons back-to-back, Tannehill was very diligent in pointing out that this is a progression-based offense, and I'm going to go through my reads. I'm not looking for particular people. I'm looking at my progressions and taking advantage of what the defense gives us.
This is Miller, left side, and wrestled down at the 50-yard line. Number 53, Darryl Sharpton, the first to hit him. And Hartline, the last couple of years, as you mentioned earlier, has been a very reliable go-to receiver for the Dolphins.
Well, over 1,000 yards in both seasons, and you think about the offense that they ran the last couple of years with Mike Sherman, and now with Bill Lazor coming in, and the system that he put in is more of a progression-based instead of a matchup-based offense that they're running.
3rd and 2. Daniel Thomas in the backfield with Tannehill will throw for it. That's Thomas out of the backfield. Boy, we'd say the mark will be really important here. Right at that first down marker, Kasim Green hit Thomas as soon as he made the catch. Let's see where they spot it.
Well, from up here in the booth, it looks like it's going to be short, but it's close enough where they're going to have to measure it. It almost appears that he has to get right here to the 48-yard line.
Okay, Van Gogh, we're going to have to work on your artwork. What was that?
Well, it was I left my pinky dragging on the screen, so I had the pen on there, I had my hand on there. I might as well just, you know what, I might have done finger paint. Could I just done finger paint right there, just start drawing with my fingers? Maybe that would help out there. So.
Pretty soon, class, it's time for recess.
Exactly.
It's a first down for Miami.
Fortunately, the chain was much more succinct than my drawing was. So
much more succinct. Kyle Fuller, the fine rookie cornerback, on the sideline, shaken up and knocked back on the field.
We're thinking this is where it happened a couple plays ago with Ian Wallace. He comes up to make the tackle. He goes low, and I'm not sure what happened that caused him to go out.
Tannehill. And almost intercepted by DJ Williams. It was there for the picking.
Well, and this is one of the few times today where Tannehill is trying to force the ball up the field. You see he's trying to fit it in between 4 defenders. Willie Young is the one that tips the ball. There were 2 linebackers lined in between, and Tannehill's trying to squeeze that pass in. The corner on the outside actually fell back into it and would have been there to make the play if Young didn't tip the football. So fortunately for Tannehill, that ball was tipped away.
2nd and 10. Tannehill rolling, throwing, Clay out of bounds at just short of the 40-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 40. That'll be 2 yards shy of a first down. So it'll be another 3rd and 2 for Miami.
Well, I like what the Dolphins have done all day with moving Tannehill around. They ran him more in the first half, and I still think they'll get back to running him here in the second half. Just so far, they've done a nice job with the bootlegs, the play action away, setting that landmark. When you have pass rushers the way that the Bears have pass rushers, moving that landmark for your quarterback makes it more difficult for them to zero in.
3rd and 2. Lamar Miller in the backfield with Tannehill. The pitch for Miller. And he got the first down. Oh, did he?
Well, and I think what they're marking is Miller's knee went down as he was lunging for the first down line. And that's why I think he's going to be short, because of that knee making contact with the ground first.
So it is 4th down, and now we see Joe Philbin keeping his team on the field to go for it. Do you like this?
I do like this call. This is inside the 40, just inside the 40, so you kick it in the end zone, you're only picking up 19 yards of offense.
And before the snap of the ball, we are going to have a timeout.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner made the line to gain for a first down.
So Joe Philbin wants them to take a closer look at this. And his knee did go down earlier, didn't it? Pete Morelli will go under the hood as we take a break.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Pete Morelli has his decision ready.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Miami will be charged with challenge and a timeout.
And our officiating expert, Mike Carey, back in New York. You agree with that, Mike?
Greg, yes, I agree with it. This is one of the most difficult plays because it looks at regular speed like he makes the first down, but when you slow it down and freeze the ball when the knee is down, it is right at the 1 yard mark, and it's a great piece of officiating by Dana McKenzie.
Gotcha, Mike. Thank you. So on 4th down, here's Tannehill, and Tannehill with running room inside the 15, inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for Miami.
What you need to do is you need to keep an eye on the end. That's what they're reading. That's what Ryan Tannehill is reading. And when you see that crash and collapse, Clay comes around from the backside, the tight end 42. He comes around from the backside, and he's a lead blocker for Ryan Tannehill. That's what allows him to get to that second level and get one-on-one with the safety. And remember, as a wide receiver at Texas A&M, he has the speed to be able to push it up the field.
Oh, he'll love to hear that. 1st and goal. Miller, left side, to the 5, to the 2.
The read option is you're trying to read, and on this play, this is going back to the first half, but Willie Young collapses, and this is just like the play we just saw on 4th down. Clay is coming around, the tight end 42 is coming around from the backside to be a lead blocker for Ryan Tannehill. He has the speed. I know I just referenced the Texas A&M wide receiver position that he ran the first 3 years when he was at Texas A&M. As a quarterback in the NFL, though, you may want to learn to slide a little bit to protect yourself.
Miller again on 2nd and goal to the end zone for the touchdown. How about this quarter, Trent? The Chicago Bears go 80 yards with one drive, And then the Miami Dolphins come right back with another long drive. There's only 31 seconds remaining here in the third.
Well, and I talked about that when the Dolphins got the ball. They had to respond to Chicago's scoring drive. And look at the offensive line. Watch the push that they get. That left side of the offensive line, Brandon Albert does a good job of creating and pushing. And Lamar, as he's running the football, Lamar Miller, as he's running the football and stretching it to the outside, finds his lane to be able to cut inside. And Deion Sims, you can see him congratulate. Deion Sims was at the point of attack as well. But was important for the Dolphins to respond with a score of their own.
Did they ever? 21-7, Miami. Half a minute to play here in the third quarter. How about the fact that Ryan Tannehill is this game's leading rusher with 4 carries for 50 yards?
That double threat today, that's what's causing problems for the Chicago defense. Is that read option has been giving them a hard time.
And the Bears will come out from the 20-yard line, and let's go down to Evan.
Well, guys, star rookie corner Kyle Fuller's return is questionable with a hip injury. I've been watching him on the sideline. He's been in obvious pain. He spent time on the workout bike. Here's where we seem to have seen the injury occur to that hip. Grabs it quickly. Now, he worked with athletic trainers and, again, was on the workout bike trying to loosen it up, but his official status is questionable to return in this game.
All right, Evan, thanks very much. He was fun to talk to yesterday.
Wi-Fi Mike, get out! 180!
On first down.
180!
Cutler. On this side of the field, grabbed by Marshall. Out of bounds, first down at about the 34, close to the 35-yard line.
Cortland Finnegan is in coverage. You see how he jumps to the inside. He's going to let Brandon Marshall go, and then he's playing underneath. That's because he has safety help. Rashad Jones, the safety who comes in the picture there at the end, he has help over the top. So what Finnegan's trying to do is let Marshall run by, and then when you're playing that trail technique, you want to try and mirror him. And a lot of times where the success the Bears have had with that comeback route, but all of a sudden you change it to an out-breaking route, that's harder to mirror.
They will not get a playoff before the third quarter expires. It's ended 3, 21-7. Back after this message and a word from your local station.
It's never been easy to find gold.
There's a bear here.
But there are billions of dollars of it being mined in the Yukon. The story behind the new gold rush. 60 Minutes, tonight.
As we welcome you back to Chicago, along with our producer Bob Monsbach, our director Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Evan Washburn, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew at Soldier Field. We start the fourth, Miami with a 21-7 lead.
180!
The Bears with a first down, their own 33-yard line. Cutler to throw, right over the middle. Brandon Marshall, penalty markers down.
They're going to get Brandon Marshall at the top of the route, throwing Cortland Finnegan away to run that inside route.
Pass interference, number 15. Offense, 10-yard penalty remains. First down.
Remember in our meetings last night, I was asking if there's any advantage at all?
Well, from a size advantage, you will. And here, he's going to get the penalty called. It's a bigger receiver. You get past that marker, you get down to the 10-yard mark, you try and make the cut out. Instead of just making a speed cut, which is what he should have done, as he got to the top of the route, you can see him extend his arms. And any time as a receiver, whether you're a tight end or a wideout, you extend those arms, the official sees that. They're going to throw the flag, and that's what Brandon Marshall got called for there.
I'm just thinking that those cornerbacks are getting a little bit on the pesky side for the Bears to handle. Setting up the screen, and he just threw it away because Forte was well covered. These Miami Dolphins have recovered very well from what happened last week on the final drive against Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers fumbled, Dolphins couldn't recover, and then Rodgers to Jordy Nelson on a 4th and 10. Then the fake spike, the completion to Devontae Adams, and then finally Aaron Rodgers to Andrew Corliss for the game winner. The Packers won 27-24, and it's a tough loss for that man and his team.
Well, and the defense has really responded. You look at this point in time, starting the fourth quarter, the Bears only have 148 yards of total offense, and on the season they're averaging 370.
After him, the ball fumbles, and it's out. Cameron Wake, and recovered by Miami. Wake with the strip sack and the recovery.
Cameron Wake coming off the side, one-on-one against Jordan Mills. You can see the strip sack with that tomahawk chop coming down to knock the ball loose, and then having the wherewithal to locate the ball and jump on top of it, giving the Dolphins great field position inside the 20.
Second time today that Jay Cutler has turned the ball over through the interception in the first half. And here Cameron Wake forces the fumble and gets the football. We've told Cameron Wake's story before, undrafted out of Penn State. And it sets the Dolphins up at the Chicago 16-yard line. Tannehill looking for it all. Corner of the end zone and overthrows Wallace. It'll be 2nd and 10. Covered by Sherrick McManus, who is on the field in place of the injured Kyle Fuller.
And here's Wake coming off the edge, going back to the sack, strip, fumble, and recovery by Cameron Wake. Cutler trying to get the ball up the field. You have to stand back there and let the play develop. Just not enough time, and Cameron Wake wins around that edge to get the ball.
Kind of a beast, isn't it? 2nd and 10.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Olivier Vernon last night as well, and just the combination of those two coming off the edges, it's hard to pick who you're going to double team.
This is Miller, right side. And wrapped up just inside the 15-yard line by Brock Vereen. These two guys coming off the edge. Wake and Vernon, 45.5 sacks since 2012. 27 of Miami's 56 since 13. Third and 8. Touchdowns in each of their first 3 red zone trips for Miami. Tannehill looking over the middle, in and out of the hands of Lamar Miller. And that will bring the field goal unit on.
Well, you have to consider that a win for the Chicago defense when you consider after the sack fumble, they recovered the ball at the 16-yard line. You only allowed 2 yards, and you're forcing them a field goal attempt.
This one will be from 32 yards out. Make it 33. 33 yards away. He missed from 50 in the first half. He didn't miss this one. Right down the middle. 13:32 to play here in the fourth. Miami extends its lead to 24-7. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, there's a new gold rush in the Yukon worth billions of dollars. You won't believe how they're finding it. Plus, can Rome save one of the last wonders of the world? Only on 60 Minutes tonight. Nice skyline, huh, Trent?
It's been beautiful this time of year. You know, fall's changing here in Chicago, and it's been nice around town. We've had really good weather.
Yeah, you just wait. This is Chris Williams. Williams getting some blocking. Still on his feet and finally down at about the 25. Brought down by Rashard Matthews. Kyle Fuller, hip injury. Walking his way to the locker room. He won't be back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx.
Buckingham Fountain in Grant Park along the shores of Lake Michigan. 24/7 Miami. We remind you tomorrow on CBS, see why critics are saying the new hit drama Scorpion has some real sting. Don't miss a new episode tomorrow at 9, 8 Central. Only CBS. You ever play a winter game here in Chicago, Trent?
I have not. I have not. And luckily, I should say.
It can get a little nippy.
Little wind.
Yeah, a little nippy, a little breeze.
Hey, hey! Ringo, Ringo! Ringo, Ringo, Ringo! Hey, hey!
On first down, Cutler, quick pass to this side, and that is incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey, first time they've targeted him since the first 2 passes of the game.
Well, and it appeared that Jay Cutler saw what Miami was trying to do defensively when they stacked so many guys at the line of scrimmage. It looked like he made a check to get to that wide receiver screen. They just weren't able to haul it in, and the Dolphins actually dropped out of that pressure look and dropped back into zone and would have rallied to make that tackle.
So it leaves Cutler with a 2nd and 10. Sideline wide open is Dante Rosario, the tight end, loose ball. Picked up by the Dolphins. Randy Starks recovering.
That had to have been a blown coverage. Rosario's left wide open, but Cortland Finnegan falls off of Brandon Marshall, comes up to make the tackle. You can see his right arm. He comes up and he punches the football as he's trying to make the tackle. And watch the right arm come up, punch the football out with his helmet hitting him. And then Starks doing a good job of pursuing and jumping. That wasn't a real successful way to slide on the football, but nonetheless he was able to get on the football.
3rd Chicago turnover of the day, and they are looking at this. As they do all turnovers, we'll take a break with 13:13 to play.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. It is a fumble and recovered by Miami. First down, Miami.
And what they looked at was whether or not Cortland Finnegan might have stepped out of bounds along the sideline, Trent.
Well, and here's Finnegan. He's going to come up and make the play, and it's important to watch his right foot as he nears the boundary, because had he stepped out of bounds when he made contact, that would have been a dead ball right at that point in time, which would have meant that Chicago retained the ball, but his foot never did go out of bounds.
Pass to the near side, and this is Damian Williams out of the backfield. 3 Chicago turnovers in the game, which have resulted in 10 Miami points so far.
And you say so far because this is great field position that the Dolphins have once again because of those turnovers.
I'm glad you took notice that I said so far. There are still possibilities here. 2nd and 3 on a 7-yard pickup.
I pay attention, Greg. I even noticed when you described the 85 Bears defense as pretty good.
Fairly decent is another way you can say it. Oh, nice pass from Tannehill to Damian Williams. Tannehill saw some traffic up top and kind of slung that one sidearm.
Nice job with his arm angle. You know, you get Jared Allen, he does a little pump fake. He wants to go over the top and get the ball out more quickly. Jared Allen comes off that edge, jumps up and gets some air, and as you noted, Greg, Ryan dropped that sidearm there, and Tannehill was able to fling it underneath the flailing Jared Allen off the edge and get the ball for the first down.
Tannehill 21 of 25 for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's throwing it again. That one inside the 5-yard line came close to being picked. Tim Jennings breaking that up. Pass intended for Jarvis Landry.
You just got through saying 21 of 25, and as a quarterback, when you're dialed in like this, you start thinking you can make all the throws, and he tries putting a little bit on the back shoulder because you can see safety help over the top. That's what you worry about as a corner, is if you lead the ball too much. Brock Vereen is there to come over and make a play if you put that too far up the field, but Tannehill's having a heck of a day and is able to step into the throws. You saw him take a hit after releasing the ball.
On 2nd and 10, this is Daniel Thomas right side, running rolls inside the 15 and close to a first down. Has a first down, I believe, at the 12. Darryl Sharpton making the tackle, but not before the Dolphins ring up another first down. And Mark Trestman on the sideline for Chicago, just looking for answers.
Well, coming into this game, the Bears defense is 10th in the league with only giving up 104 yards on the ground, and already today the Dolphins have 118 yards rushing. Some of that, as you mentioned, has come from Ryan Tannehill. 50 yards of it coming from Ryan Tannehill, but they're doing that offensive line is doing a solid job creating lanes.
21 first downs on the day for the Bears as Thomas carries to about the 7.5. It'll be 2nd and 6. Excuse me, Trent.
Nope, sorry about that. It's important for the Dolphins to continue to try and keep this clock running, because Now with it, it's already a 3-possession game. You ultimately want to get a touchdown to stretch this to a 4-possession game, and the Bears conversely want to hold you to a field goal to keep it that 3-possession game. But just as important as all of that, the scoring standpoint is keeping this clock moving as the fourth quarter is winding down to shorten the length of time the Bears have to recover.
This is Thomas. And nothing there will produce a third down. Bears can get a first down without getting a touchdown. With the Dolphins, rather, excuse me.
Now, I wouldn't be shocked here if we get a chance to have Mike Wallace, or if the Dolphins have a chance to get Mike Wallace matched up on Sherrick McManus over at left corner. You have to understand, Kyle Fuller is out of the game. You already mentioned the hip injury that he's dealing with, but Peanut Tillman is gone as well. He got injured early in the season, so now you're on to your third corner there as they're working a bunch formation there to the right upper part of the string.
And Tannehill looks that way, comes back to this side, and now is in trouble throwing it away over the end zone. So Tannehill got rid of it, and the field goal unit will come on.
Well, and what Ryan does is he's got that bunch formation to the front side. He tries to work the backside. You see him work his eyes to the backside. That's because he had Clay matched up in a matchup that he liked. Now, the play takes you to the front side. You have 3 receivers in a bunch formation, and he actually would have had a receiver open in the flash. It was Jarvis Landry in that bunch formation.
And they're going to call Tannehill for
Offense,
intentional grounding.
10-yard penalty and loss of down, fourth down.
Jarvis Landry was open in the right flat, but you would have had to keep your eyes there to see him early. Instead, he worked to the backside to try and get isolated with nobody in the middle of the field. Landry here is on the inside. He's going to be open, but what you're going to see is this isolation backside, and that's what Tannehill goes to. So once you eliminate that on the front side, you go to the backside to get that isolation. Then it's a matter of finding someone open back to the front side, and when you throw that far out of the end zone with that bunch formation to the right, it's flooding that side of the field. So if you're going to throw it away, you need to throw it away on the right side where all your receivers are bunched together.
There was a time where you could launch that ball into the second deck over the end zone and it wouldn't be called. From 37 yards out. Nuh-uh. 9:43 to play here in the fourth quarter, and the score remains the same.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Subway Restaurants. Subway. Train hard, eat fresh.
A reminder, coming up the Subway postgame show, JB and gang will have all the scores and the highlights from New York coming up on the Subway postgame show. Well, Lamar Houston is the Chicago Bear who got a hand on that field goal attempt. Sent it sailing sideways. So now it's the Bears. Matt Forte in the backfield and Cutler on the move, now throws. Marshall coming across the field and across the 30 to the 32-yard line. Let's go back to that blocked field goal.
And here's Lamar Houston right in the middle of the screen. You're going to see him get through that gap, and he extends his left arm and is able to make contact. As you joked around, Greg, you were saying he may have dislocated his thumb, but he was able to get that block.
Second and 5. Cutler, and that was batted down at the line of scrimmage. Is that Cortland Finnegan in from his cornerback position? It was.
And you'll see Finnegan coming off of the right edge. Jumping up and knocking that ball down. Number 24 there, Cortland Finnegan, as Cutler's trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly to the outside.
These Miami cornerbacks were conceding nothing to the larger Bears receivers. 3rd and 5. Cutler throwing over the middle. Forte midfield, 45, inside the 45 to the 44-yard line and a first down. Brought down by Louis Delmas, the safety.
And Forte coming out of the backfield is matched up on Colomisi. You can see Colomisi slips to the ground as he makes that cut, freeing up Forte to get the big game.
Cutler going to go for it all. Incomplete, penalty flag. Alshon Jeffrey. Jamar Taylor with the coverage. Taylor saying not guilty.
Well, there was definitely contact. There was definitely contact, but the conversation has to be with the officials is whether or not it was catchable. That ball was underthrown by a good 10 to 15 yards. And now another flag comes flying in late.
Just for the heck of it.
They're like, hey, I want to get a part of this conversation. I'm going to throw it and run over to the other side.
Well, Brandon Marshall is over there. He's the team captain.
Warren Finnegan likes to talk a little bit. He's not afraid of mixing it up as well.
Here's Pete Morelli.
There are 2 fouls on the play on the defense. 12 men on the field, defense. Pass interference, that penalty will be declined. Pass interference, number 22, defense. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So the bottom line is the Miami Dolphins didn't do very much right on that play at all.
Well, in the pass interference, you can see the contact that's going on. You can see the contact going on with Jamar Taylor and how he's trying to get his head turned around, but the ball is, as I mentioned, 10 to 15 yards underthrown. So whether or not Alshon Jeffrey can come back and make a play on the ball, but the Dolphins had 12 men on the field either way.
First and goal from the 5. Forte to about the 1.
You can see Brandon Marshall trying to get everybody to hurry up, and now they have decided to get up on the line of scrimmage quickly.
Forte again. No gain. It'll be 3rd and goal. And you're right, there should be a bit more urgency on the part of the Bears being down 24-7. You're under 8 minutes to play in regulation.
And you've already had to burn one of your timeouts, so look for your matchups here. You've got a 6'4" on a 5'10", and you've got a 6'3" on a 5'10" on the outside.
Forte once again for the touchdown. Matt Forte's 2nd touchdown of the day.
Right guard Kyle Long. This is the point of attack. You got to give it to the right guard. Kyle Long does a nice job of doing a combo block, getting up on the lineman, and then releasing and getting up on the next level. Jason Trusnick, the linebacker. Kyle Long does a nice job there of creating space.
You know what the Bears' biggest gainer of the day was? That 39-yard penalty. 24-14, Miami. Just a reminder, coming up, the Subway postgame show with James Brown and the guys from the NFL Today in New York. All the latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Matt Forte, 2 touchdowns on the afternoon. 73-yard drive for the Bears. Forte capping it with the 1-yard run. 24-14 Dolphins. And now the fans looking for the Bears defense to make a stand. And a quick one, too.
Well, it's important for the Dolphins. This is a young quarterback, young football team. Being able to finish off a game, get some first downs, use up the clock, and keep the ball away from the Bears.
Jarvis Landry on the run inside the 5. Landry up the middle. Still on his feet across the 30 and out to about the 33-yard line. Can't say enough about that young man's day-to-day, can you, Trent?
He's done a tremendous job. Ryan Tannehill, 21-27 up until this point. Started off early in the game, utilizing his feet with some of the read option, but that just led to play action passes, getting the ball up the field. He's used 7 different receivers, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. Had a tremendous day, but it's about finishing football games, and this final 7 minutes and 31 seconds have a big impact on Ryan Tannehill moving forward.
Something they were not able to do a week ago against the Green Bay Packers at home, and he's throwing. Mike Wallace on the receiving end.
That just shows you the confidence right now that Joe Philbin has in his young quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, to be throwing the football in this situation, keep the clock moving, isolated one-on-one on the outside. Tannehill does a good job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly, not sitting there and waiting too long, but timing throw, making it accurate.
8-yard gain, 2nd and 2, and this is Lamar Miller, and Miller not going to get a first down here. This could be about a yard short. Bears are missing the rookie cornerback Kyle Fuller, who went to the locker room with a hip injury, did not return.
Well, they came into the game missing Lance Briggs as well.
Briggs out with the sore ribs. Here's a 3rd and 1. Miller, first down, right up the middle to the 49-yard line. Willie Young with the stop, but not in time. New set of downs for Miami.
It's that read option again, and that time Willie Young hesitated just enough to where Ryan Tannehill thought he could give the ball to Lamar Miller and be able to pick up the first down, and he got the first down and more.
You know, people sitting out there say, well, you know, why doesn't everybody do this read option? Everybody doesn't have that nifty a quarterback.
You have to have someone that's fast enough to run it, but also big enough and durable enough to take the hits.
Tannehill to throw. This side of the field, complete to Wallace. Wallace out of bounds inside the 40-yard line at about the Chicago 39 or 38. Speaking of that read option,
let's go back and look today at some of the plays that Tannehill made. That time Willie Young collapsing, giving Tannehill the lane to the outside. They pulled Clay around, pulling Deion Sims around. He's having a lead blocker on some of those quarterback runs. That was the 4th down, 4th and 1 that he was able to get to the second level and make the safety miss to pick up a big chunk of yardage as Ryan Tannehill sitting at 50 yards rushing on the day.
Boy, that'll make the quarterback strut, won't it?
A win will make him strut more.
Miller. And the Dolphins grinding out yardage, moving it downfield and taking time off the clock. Now under 4:50 to play here in the 4th quarter, and the Bears down by 10.
Well, and it's important to point out, we just got done showing that package of Ryan Tannehill and his runs. He's at 50 yards rushing, but he's 23 of 29 throwing the football for 240 yards, those 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, which has been as critical as anything is protecting the football.
2nd and 7. Miller again. And that stops. Clock is stopped with 4:11 to play. We get a timeout on the field as Chicago uses its 2nd timeout of the half. A reminder for you, Wednesday here on CBS. Dylan McDermott and Maggie Q star in the new hit thriller Stalker, Wednesday at 10/9 Central, only CBS. Well, the general point of view would be keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock running. However, Ryan Tannehill, I think you'd have to say he's really done a lot of the unexpected today.
He has, and there's more and more trust that's being placed on Ryan Tannehill's shoulders as he's proven to be able to protect the football you would generally think you want to run the ball, but they've been conservative with some of their throws, keeping it underneath. And this part of the field, he's also taken a couple of sacks to knock them out of field goal range. So I would anticipate another run here, if not a read option to where he's reading one of these outside linebacker defensive ends to see if he's going to keep it or not.
3rd and 3. Tannehill has a man wide open on this side of the field. Deion Sims. Sims inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for Miami. Chicago forgot all about Deion Sims.
Yeah, he started off on the screen. He started off with the play. Here he is right here. He starts off on the play blocking, and that's why the Bears let him go. He drops back like he's going to pass protection, then he releases late. He's able to get out. He's able to get out because he starts out in protection, and it appears that Christian Jones, the outside linebacker, is supposed to have him in coverage, but as soon as Jones sees him block, he goes ahead and rushes the passer, and Tannehill has the wherewithal to get him the ball.
The pitch for Miller, and Miller pulls his way to the 3-yard line. How about Lamar Miller and what he's done now in his role as the lead back and pretty much the go-to guy for the ground game?
Well, and that could have been his smartest decision all day, the go-to guy, because Knowshon Moreno is out for the year. And even though coming into this game, Lamar Miller was the leading rusher, it's just he doesn't have that same rotation when Knowshon Moreno is in the game. But the smartest play he's made today was that one right there, where as he got to the sideline, instead of trying to get that extra few feet, he just squatted down and was able to get down inbounds to keep the clock running.
2nd and goal. Miller again. Miller to the end zone for the touchdown. And we have a penalty marker down, another one down at the goal line.
I think they're going to get Clay on a holding call. Anytime the linebacker has to spin out.
There were 2 fouls on the play on the offense. Holding, number 82, that penalty would be declined. Holding, number 42, that penalty would be accepted. 10 yards, 2nd down.
So that will take the Lamar Miller touchdown run off the board.
Tight end Charles Clay is the one that gets called for the hold. He comes off and he's blocking Shea McClellan. Here's Clay coming off on McClellan. McClellan tries to escape. You see the grab of the shoulder pad right at the top, and those linebackers are taught if you're not able to get a clean release, go ahead and spin out. That draws the attention of the officials even more, but there was a hold there by Clay.
So now it's 2nd and goal from the 12. Tannehill, and he's going to throw it this time to Landry. And Landry looking for the end zone, out of bounds at about, you see them mark him out at the 2-yard line. Maybe the 1.
I have yet to see the Dolphins show this play concept where they do the run, the read option. They try and get the defense to draw in, and then they throw the quick pass or the quick wide receiver screen to the outside. The Bears showed good discipline staying at home, but the majority of the players were stacked inside trying to come after Tannehill as Landry was able to get up the near sideline.
So here's a 3rd and goal. And Daniel Thomas is in the backfield. Tannehill under pressure, rolling, looking, throwing, end zone broken up. Intended for Clay. Thought maybe Shea McClellan was coming over.
Well, and I think that Tannehill, when he sees this film and as he's discussing it with his coaches, I understand what he's trying to, in the play he's trying to make, but I think with his feet and the fact that both defenders' backs are turned to him because they're trying to locate their receivers, he has a chance to run for that corner, that front corner of the end zone, and if he doesn't make it, it keeps the clock running, gets it down to the 2-minute warning.
Caleb Sturgis from 19 yards out puts 3 more on the board for Miami. So Miami stretches its lead now to 27-14 with just 2:13 remaining on the clock, and it's looking like a really nice flight home for the Miami Dolphins this afternoon. Week 7 continues later today on Fox, then tonight with the 49ers and the Broncos on Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for the Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football on ESPN.
Now let me make it clear, Greg, if it's me, I'm throwing that football because I don't have the wheels that Ryan Tannehill did. So for me...
Are you saying now or ever?
Ever. There's no doubt about it. Ryan Tannehill runs tremendous for a quarterback in the National Football League, and by the time he got outside, he had leverage, he had the angle. I make that decision differently because I know I'm not going to be able to go outside. But with his speed, he has a chance to go to the corner and use up even more time and eliminate some of the options that the Bears have.
Hey, this was a team that was down in the dumps a week ago with the last-second loss to Green Bay. Now it's all smiles on the sideline.
Well, they talked to us about the preparation they had this week, and they felt confident going into that game last week against Green Bay that they could go in and win that football game. So the outside world was, wow, that was a really close game, and you had a chance to win. You should feel good about it. They were disappointed because they thought they should have won the game and could have won the game. But you see there was no, there's definitely some carryover in their confidence level coming into this game against Chicago.
Chris Williams running it out of the end zone. Williams up the sideline, penalty markers fly as he's forced out of bounds short of midfield.
During a return, illegal use of hands to the face, number 57 of the kicking team. 5-yard penalty at the end of the kick, first down.
Jordan Tripp, a linebacker, guilty of the penalty. And so that will move the Bears forward, and we'll see Jay Cutler throwing the ball all over the field in these last 2 minutes as you look at the numbers.
I think the key number there is the 3 turnovers and the points and the amount of time that the Dolphins will be able to use up because of that. Obviously, the yardage is completely lopsided because of the job that the Dolphins defense has done against Jay Cutler and his crew of weapons.
So let's see if they're looking for the quick strike, and now we got a procedure call against the Bears.
False start, number 67 offense, 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
So that will back the Bears up 5 yards and make it just a little bit tougher. First and 15. Cutler under pressure. Tried to launch one deep and got hit by Cameron Wake as he released the ball.
He's trying to take a shot up the field to Alshon Jeffrey one-on-one down the sideline. You have to get a quick score. Cameron Wake applying the pressure. His arm is coming forward, so it will stay an incomplete pass and not a fumble.
This play will get us to the 2-minute warning. Cutler, quick pass to the near side. This is Bennett, and Bennett into Miami territory and spun out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. But with 1:55 to play, we will take a break for the 2-minute warning, and it's been all Miami Dolphins and all Ryan Tannehill. What a performance. 27-14 Dolphins. I think it's safe to say it's a bewildered Chicago Bears offense. The team in general that played so well at Atlanta a week ago. 3rd and 3. Cutler throwing this side and knocked out of bounds. Martellus Bennett short of a first down. So it'll be 4th down. And they, of course, will go for it.
But we had a quick look at Brent Grimes over on the far sideline. not in the game at the most crucial part of the time of the game, or most crucial part of the game.
We will check with the Dolphins, see if we can find out the reason why. It's been a pretty good defensive effort for the Miami Dolphins today. 4th and 2. Cutler throwing. That's Matt Forte for the first down. And we have a penalty marker down. It's on the near side of the field.
Illegal contact, number 22, defense, 5-yard penalty automatic, first down.
So that penalty is on Jamar Taylor. Did you hear that sound in the background?
Evidently the wind picked up a little bit down on the field, didn't it?
That's called Chicago.
Jamar Taylor down here at the bottom of the screen on Martellus Bennett gets called for the penalty.
So the Bears at the Miami 37. Cutler going deep for Marshall. Incomplete. Tripped a little bit on Jamar Taylor, who was covering him.
Well, and you see the frustration of Jamar Taylor throwing his hands up, because as much as they want to focus on defensive pass interference and what's going on down the field with the defense, watch Brandon Marshall extend his left arm and push him away. And he pushes him away for a good 3 or 4 yards. So that's why Jamar Taylor's so upset. He's like, listen, you're going to call so close on me. You know, how about reciprocating the fact that the offense is penalizing us as well.
Cutler throwing for Bennett. And Bennett close to the 15-yard line. Rashad Jones cuts him down. Clock continues to run, a minute 25.
And it's important to remember that the Bears only have one timeout.
Cutler over the middle, through the hands of Bennett. 1:13 to play.
Well, and that's what gives this Bear offense such an advantage when you have a 6'3" and 6'4" wide receiver, and then you have a 6'6" tight end going down the middle of the field, and you're playing a 2-deep safety. You know, who do you double team? Of course you're going to go and double team the wide receiver just because of the athleticism. So all of a sudden you create matchup problems in the middle of the field, and that's what Cutler was trying to take advantage of.
We're told that Brent Grimes suffered an injury to his left thigh, and his return is questionable. That's why he's on the sideline. 2nd and 10. Lowstaff picked it up, throwing into the 5-yard line, incomplete. Bennett making the dive for it. You know what struck me last night, Trent? We're talking with members of the Dolphins, and I asked if it made them feel good at all about being able to hang with and almost beat such a quality team as the Green Bay Packers. And I remember Cortland Finnegan said, not at all. We think we're a good football team. We should have won the game.
Well, I think they all looked at you like you're crazy.
Exactly.
They thought, they're like, wait a second, we're a good football team, and we felt like we could have and should have won that football game.
Cutler dancing and looking, throwing, end zone. Batted away, broken up in the end zone by Rashad Jones. Brandon Marshall targeted on the play.
Well, and that's the second play in a row that Rashad Jones has made, knocking the ball away. This time on Brandon Marshall, the previous down on Martellus Bennett. All over the place, covering these big guys. Jones breaking up another big gain. This one actually would have been a touchdown because it's in the end zone.
Good play by Jones. 4th and 10. 1:02 to play. Cutler needs the 5-yard line for a first down. Throwing for the end zone. Up high, batted away. Cortland Finnegan. And Brandon Marshall involved in the corner. The ball will go over on downs.
Well, Cortland Finnegan was the one that was in coverage, and he told us last night, we're not intimidated. We talked to him about the size difference, and he just kind of looked at us and said, we play big receivers all the time. You guys act like we're small for the first time in our lives. This is what we're used to. This is how we play, and we're not going to be intimidated by these bigger receivers. And that's just frustration carrying over for Brandon Marshall.
Got his leg tied up and gave a shove to Finnegan. who is a character. In fact, those are two characters facing off. Give the Miami Dolphins the win. They move to 3-3 on the season. And Tannehill takes a knee.
But the thing about that last play that I like the most, and if you're Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator for Miami, you like the fact that guys are running to his defense. You like the fact, now you don't want anybody to be fined, you don't want anybody to get a penalty, those kinds of things. But the fact that they have each other's backs, and that's what they talked about. They hung together this week. They wanted to come back and prove that the last couple of weeks hasn't been a fluke, and that they feel confident about their group and what they're doing moving forward.
That is the last snap of the football game, and the Chicago Bears, their first 0-3 start at home since the 2004 season.
And how about that guy right there, Ryan Tannehill, 25 of 32, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And as we talked all day, running the ball very effectively as well.
Frustrating day for the Bears. A terrific day for the visitors from Miami who come into Soldier Field and knock off the Bears by the 27-14. The Bears, with the loss, move to 3-4 on the year. There's your final score. Miami 27, the Bears 14. Coming up, it's the Subway postgame show. Hey, bonus coverage coming your way of the Tennessee Titans against Washington coming shortly. For Trent Green, for Evan Washburn, for all of our CBS Sports crew here at Soldier Field in Chicago, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel saying so long from Chicago. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. To James Brown in New York.